Everyone, today we're going to talk about how Neil Patel has built his personal blog to over 4 million visits per month with SEO. I'm Ross Hudgens, founder of Siege Media. We're a 100-person content marketing agency, and we help companies like Shutterfly, Casper, and TripAdvisor grow their business through content-fueled SEO. If you want more videos breaking down great businesses like Neil, give us a subscribe, hit that like button, and hit the notification bell to get more videos like this as they come. So for Neil in particular, he's done a lot of things over time that have generated a huge amount of traffic to his business. In some circles, he doesn't always get the most positive flack for how he goes about that. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to emphasize the great marketing stuff that Neil does do to build to his current pace in terms of search. So the first thing that Neil has done is he has thought through, especially in these competitive content marketing and SEO focused landscapes, how he can actually rank for those things. Not always is it just content. Neil has also bought a tool called Ubersuggest and redirected it into neilpatel.com. And this tool now represents over 60% of his link profile. And that specific acquisition has lifted up his entire site. If he didn't have that, he would not be able to rank for the same queries he is today in this very competitive space where he's competing against people who are lifted through that work. So Neil has found the intersection of being able to find a great tool that has traffic and value on its own, and also the content that generates links by itself. And Neil didn't stop with Ubersuggest. So Kissmetrics is a great high authority site that also had a lot of high quality content on its blog. And Neil bought the site for over $500,000, actually redirected it into Neil Patel, further building the link equity and the domain authority of that website in order to help his other pages rank. You can see Neil has consistently taken advantage of this strategy of finding free tools or otherwise content websites that have existing authority that can't really be monetized or monetized to the same level, and has purchased them and leveraged them for his own business. So the overarching lesson of this for Neil and how he's gotten to the point he has with his business is continuing to invest in yourself. A very common and probably easier to understand reference point is Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is this huge YouTube channel now, I think the most popular on YouTube. And how he's managed to do this is he continues to reinvest in his own business. So you can see with his new videos, he's giving away as much as $1 million in these videos. And the only reason he's able to do that is because he's not making money off some of these videos. He's actually probably breaking even, and he's mentioned he's lost money on some of these more recent videos because he's basically trying to break even to grow his channel overall, which of course will eventually make him money. I think if you try to once you start making a little bit of momentum and profit, you can take that in, but really if you want to keep growing your business, you should keep reinvesting it to see the same returns that really both of these people have done with their companies. And that is the main lesson of both of them, is you have to keep reinvesting profits essentially to have that differentiated advantage in some of these markets. If you wanted to pocket that money, more likely you're not going to have an advantage that will sustain as these both have done. Another lesson of the Neil Patel equation is he has multiple methods of monetization. So if you think about trying to rank for some things, in essence, all of this is economics at play. So it's what you will be able to transfer that work to generate links or that acquisition of a website into actual dollars at the end of the day. So what Neil has done is he has both an agency and he has also direct monetization through affiliates on his website. So he's trying to rank for WordPress hosting, how to start a blog, and every time you click that link, you actually make him money. And he is using that monetization as well as directly trying to push you to his agency in order to build revenue that justifies these investments. And some companies are just out there trying to make money simply through affiliates. You can see how simply doing that has only one value chain, that everyone has that exact same value chain. Neil has a unique value chain in terms of having affiliate monetization and agency monetization that most of those affiliate players can't get. And therefore, two elements that piece together to build a bigger whole that a lot of smaller players cannot do. There are tool providers who do this basically with content and product. With Neil, in a way, he's done it with agency and affiliate. And if you think about that and how you can build a business, the more monetization channels you have to potentially glue value together from, the more you can potentially make bigger risks and bigger moves like Neil has to build this advantage from a ranking standpoint for neilpatel.com. Another thing Neil has benefited from is simply longevity. So these are all compounding effects. So Neil was a veteran, already had his own agency when I started my career. And I feel like an old geezer in this space because I've been working 10 plus years. And Neil was already established when I started my career. And that longevity has, again, just helped him build more momentum that he continues to reinvest. If we think about that Mr. Beast parable, he's doing the same thing with his own personal brand, but he's been doing it for 10, really 15 years. And because of that, he has now advantages that have him at that peak. Sometimes it doesn't always work to his favor, but on average, that advantage of time has worked. So if you think about it for your own business, you really want to play a long game with everything. And it's find that focus area that you know you want to be doing for 15 plus years. Like Siege, we've been doing this for 10 years. We're going on 10 years as a business. I've been working in this industry for 10 plus, and we're going to keep doing it for 20. So hopefully that snowball will grow. But if you have your own website like Neil's, not only does it have value from a branding standpoint, but he's getting links to his business for 10, 20 years. And that has real value that is hard to just day one kind of disrupt as another company because of that. As a copywriter, Neil also excels. Something he specifically does from a voice standpoint is he consistently references data in his articles. This is something that I think Neil has always done very well and makes his articles more punchy and more effective. And I think for anyone who's in B2B that's watching this, you can reference the same value prop because you see those articles that are very fluffy and generic in terms of the reference points. Neil consistently is citing data in terms of what the conversion rate improvement is or how fast page speed is improved, almost in every other paragraph that will really add to the credibility of the work. It is that style that has made him stand out over time that differentiates from many other B2B people that are working in the same space. Another thing he specifically leverages from a credibility standpoint is he will use those unique things he's done, such as buying kissmetrics.com, to build very differentiated titles that make it more marketable on average. If you see the article for Kissmetrics where he states that he bought this for $500,000 in the title, obviously that's compelling to click and read, and that will allow him to, one, generate links to that, but also other instances actually rank better as well because you're going to be more likely to click that. So anytime Neil can use his own compounded advantage from this duration that he's had and longevity he's had and reinvestment he's making, he leverages that in his post titles, as you should for your own business as well. Like think about what your own differentiated advantages are, port them into your own content in order to get similar results as Neil. Neil Patel has also done a good job of building a media operation. So to the untrained eye, some people might think that this is all written by Neil, and it definitely is not. NeilPatel.com is written by many different people, and I don't think he's hiding that. I think if you look deep enough, it becomes more obvious. But he's hired great people such as Kelsey Jones, who used to be a part of Search Engine Journal, to actually be the managing editor of NeilPatel.com. And I think that is one of the lessons of this operation is to build a $4 million a month website, you have to actually build a media operation. Gary Vaynerchuk, I know, does this as well. There's so many videos and content that he posts, but there's so many people that help him in doing that to build that audience. And yes, Neil is behind a .com that is his first and last name, but at the end of the day, it's still a big team that is helping him to those results that you can also deploy whatever world or place you're in order to build that same kind of outcomes that Neil has. And finally, circling back to the monetization opportunities that Neil has had that give him the advantage in from a monetization standpoint to invest back in content and in turn rank better than other people, his agency is also in multiple countries. So he has translated his content into those adjacent countries that he has a version of his agency in. So there's a Neil Patel Brazil, and he also has content translated in that language in order to rank on Google. And you can see with that content, for one thing, his content on average is by far the best, simply because it's a less competitive market. So if he can translate that content, it's more likely to be good in a lot of those markets that he has done that, such as India and Brazil. And those will acquire links, and that link acquisition will have indirect effects on the US side as well. It's kind of hard to quantify what the effect of links in Brazil has on the US, but there's at least some commonality there in terms of how they share value that will lift both. And again, share in that monetization potential and the leverage points that Neil has that will allow him to sustain this growth that he's had over time. So there's a few ways you could do this for yourself. There are other websites such as keycontent.com and also Smartling that offer translation services into different countries. I definitely don't think this is worth it unless you can actually monetize in those countries, but it's just worth considering from a strategic standpoint. One reason to enter another market, such as Brazil or India, will be actually that it will indirectly help you grow your US business as well from a search standpoint because of that. And that's obviously a big enterprise kind of thought process and consideration, but is a big part of why Neil has grown to over 4 million visits. If you like this video breaking down neilpatel.com, like, subscribe, let us know what you thought in the comments below. Hit that notification bell to get notified of future videos breaking down world-class companies and performers from a search and content marketing standpoint. And yeah, thanks for watching.